Well, hello there, Applebiteys. This is your Writtenwritralf Tavares straight from New York Comic Con. You heard me right. We are here at the con. It has been ages and ages, and of course, what's the best thing to do but start off with Source Point Press, our pals over here, because they are fantastic. And we can't get enough of Source Point Press. And that's why we're bringing to you this book that we found over here in the Source Point Press booth by none other than
Anthony Rella.
Right, and your book is Seis Cuerdas, right?
That's right. It's Seis Cuerdas, which in English translates to six string, for anybody who doesn't know.
Ah, six string. Ah, you're getting me here. I like my music. I like my westerns. And this guy looks a lot like Zorro, so I'm beginning to like the vibes. Tell our people out there who your character is, why they should get your book.
Okay, so Seis Cuerdas is an origin story of a superhero in Mexico City who I like to refer to as a not-so-dark knight. I describe the book in terms of tone as sort of Robert Rodriguez meets Batman meets Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The protagonist is a mariachi by night, and during the day he dons a mask and he's battling Mexican drug cartels. Although the book takes place in the harsh realities of the Mexican drug war, it's an action-packed, fun read, and it celebrates Mexican culture.
I gotta admit, I like what you're selling here, and I like the fact that on the back of the book here is a fantastic little piece of art that continues from the other side. You know, you got one side of the art, and you got another side of art. You know, books don't usually do this. What made you decide to give the customer two sides of the beautiful, amazing art that you have?
Well, for this book, Source Point wasn't doing any variant covers, and when we first produced it, I had Benito Gallego, who did all the interior art and the covers on the main covers. We had a second cover for issue 1, and what happened was we weren't getting a variant cover, so we're like, hey, let's put it on the back. And then after that, J.C. Grande and Mauricio Caballero are two artists that I've worked with before, and I contacted them and I was like, hey, I got this book coming out through SourcePoint. You guys want to do back covers? And they did, and it's really fantastic to see their takes on Benito's version of the character.
I gotta admit, great job. I think it was a great idea to take these things that you already had and put them on the back, because now it gives the audience something else. And I do say, like I've told you earlier, that I love this particular cover or back cover because it just looks fantastic. It reminds me of those old spaghetti westerns.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely kind of captures the vibe of the character. Like I said, there's dark things going on in the book, but he's definitely not a dark knight. He's kind of going through this with his own kind of fanboy perspective on what he's doing, and it just makes the book a lot of fun.
I gotta admit, what made you pick this character to be your main character, or what made you decide to write this story?
Well, a while ago, I was down in Mexico. My wife and I have two friends that are filmmakers, and they were making a movie down there called Mariachi Gringo. And we spent a bunch of time down there with them while they were editing the book and editing the film. And we just, fell in love with mariachi culture and the culture of Mexico. We were down in Mexico City. And, the story just started percolating. There was a lot of, topical things about what's going on in Mexico now. And, I think there's, frankly, in the United States, there's a lot of negative stereotyping of the Mexican people, and I just thought it would be great to, create a character that, celebrates the Mexican people and their culture. And, frankly, I can't think of really another mainstream American Mexican superhero. So at least in American comics, maybe for me as a kid, I go back to the Super Friends.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I remember, I know what you're talking about.
El Dorado. And I mean, I don't think anybody can really even kind of define what his superpowers were. Oh, but Seis Cuerdas, his only superpower is that he does not need to sleep. So it kind of like, for me, it kind of opened up an interesting door that, if we all had those, I mean, it should be 8 hours, but if you have kids like I do, it's 5 to 6 hours. But, if you had your entire life to use that time productively, what could you really accomplish? And, we'll see what this character did.
That's pretty good. I like that fact. I didn't know I had a superpower. Well, okay. I kid. I sleep. Maybe.
May not. Yeah, I may not sleep, but I definitely need to sleep.
So I like what you have here. I like the fact that you've picked a Mexican hero. I completely agree. I'm actually working on a couple things myself. I'm working on a Taino hero because I feel like the cultures need to be put out there. That they need to. People need to see themselves as heroes because, it's an important thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And, feedback I've gotten so far has been really positive, and, I'm happy about that.
Well, I gotta admit, SourcePoint always gives us fantastic stuff, and you picked the perfect place to come to share your book because SourcePoint Press really pushes things out there. And, we've been with SourcePoint now for almost 5 years, and we've loved seeing them grow, and it's good to see the new blood coming in and taking their place writing great books.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, if you just go around the table, there's such a varying array of creators that they've put together. There's a lot of horror books here, which is cool. Then there's books like mine, and they have a bunch of licensing things coming in now, which are different. So.
That's what I love about you guys. You guys don't just stay to one thing. You guys you are like the other companies. You are like Marvel and DC, and you have your plethora of things that you guys are showcasing and showing off, which is what I think is giving SourcePoint Press that oomph to start moving up or higher and higher. Just the fact that you guys have this now, is amazing.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Rich, who was sitting right over here, people are coming up. He's like, oh, my book's on the badge today. So, that always helps. But yeah, I mean, it's great. We're not, and I dig all the Marvel and DC stuff, but it's like, we're not constrained by the limits of, the multiverse. And, I read Spider-Man as a kid, and I've just given up as an adult because I can't keep up what's going on. So, it's nice. These books have their, they're starting from issue 1 and they're moving forward. And if you follow them from issue 1, you know the story. So it's cool.
So you have heard it here, people. This is Seis Cuerdas. It sounds like an amazing book. I bought my set earlier today.
Very kind of you, very kind.
And, you guys just have to pick this up. Dude, just for this back cover, and it's not even the front cover, just for this back cover alone, which has this beautiful spaghetti western feel. You guys have to just pick this up. It's a great story.
Oh, yeah, and the trade is coming out next week, which will be, the 3 issues collected.
Oh, cool.
But I'm happy to say that if you want issue 1, these are the only existing copies of issue 1 because issue 1 has otherwise sold out. So
you heard it here.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. You better get your copies while they'll still last. But at least the trade is coming soon.
It's coming out. Yeah.
So anything you want to leave our audience with before we go?
It's just with this book, all the SourcePoint books are great. In terms of my book, it's a fun story, which for me, just it harkens back to, like I said, like the Marvel stories of kind of the 70s, and but it's very topical, and it's got a lot of like I said, I think I hope what comes across is I've managed to, weave in some humor and excitement into a topic, which is kind of difficult to tackle, without making light of, the real pain and suffering that is the undercurrent of the story. So I think it's a cool story.
All right, guys, you've heard it here, and of course, I like the book so much that I'm going to have him on the Written Writ, and we're going to talk more of this juicy, geeky stuff so you can get more insight on our Seis Cuerdas, and I'll bring that to you soon. But right now, I'm going to go enjoy New York Comic Con because I am here, and I'm got to bring it to you guys, so somebody's got to do it. It's a lousy job. I know, I understand. You guys feel sorry for me, but I'll handle this. Don't worry about it. With that, that is Writtenwritralf signing off.